Hi everyone, I'm Aaron from Intune Music, and today I'm going to talk about an interesting topic and a very classic topic, which is breathing for singing. So to be honest, I'm a little bit hesitant to talk about this because a lot of vocal coaches have already talked about this and done videos about this on YouTube. And I'm pretty sure that what I'm going to say today is a little bit controversial. I might get some hate mail after this.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
But I'm just going to do it anyway because I want you guys to get the information that I have, and also because I'm pretty confident that after this video you'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say and also be able to relate to some of the experiences that you have with your breathing. Okay, so you've probably heard people tell you that you need to use diaphragmatic breathing for singing. So what is diaphragmatic breathing? Okay, so usually what we talk about in breathing for singing, we talk about two different kinds of breathing. One is diaphragmatic or belly breathing. So belly breathing is when we involve more of the stomach, the tummy, the abdominals. Okay, so when we breathe in, the air feels like it's coming down all the way to the tummy. We allow the tummy to expand, the rib cage expands, and the amount of air that we take in usually is a bigger amount. So a lot of vocal coaches recommend this way of breathing so that we take in the bigger amount of air so that when we sing we have more breath. Okay, so this is diaphragmatic breathing. So how do you know whether you're doing it correctly? One of the ways is you can lie flat down on the floor. So then when you're lying on the floor, you'll find that your whole body is not able to move very much. The only part that's probably moving when you're breathing is your belly. So your belly will rise and fall. Okay, so you can put something on your belly. Sometimes people say put a book so that you can see the book rise and fall as you are breathing. Okay, so that's belly breathing. The other kind of breathing is chest breathing. So what happens in chest breathing is that the breathing is usually more shallow, so it's usually higher up. It usually happens when we get shocked, like okay, so that's a form of chest breathing or shallow breathing. Okay, or when we are very conscious of our stomach and we don't want to let it expand, so we hold in our tummy and we breathe. We tend to only use the top half of our torso. All right, so those are some ways in which we do chest breathing. Okay, another important thing about chest breathing to observe is that your shoulders may rise and fall. So sometimes when you're doing shallow breathing, this is what happens. Your shoulders get involved, your chest gets involved, okay, and usually, as I mentioned, the amount of breath that we take in is lesser. Okay, so how do we train ourselves for breathing? Is there a proper way for us to breathe when we sing? Alright, so this is the part when it's going to get a bit sensitive and vocal coaches are going to be screaming at me. But I'm going to say that there isn't really a specific way that you breathe for singing. I know a lot of vocal coaches recommend diaphragmatic breathing only, but we don't necessarily need to have just one way because a lot of times in a song, the demands on your breath are different. Alright, so when you sing a long phrase and when you sing a short phrase, the amount of air that you need is really different. So sometimes we take in a smaller breath for a very short phrase or for just a few words, but we take in a deeper breath when we sing a longer phrase or something that demands more breath. Okay, if we sing falsetto, we need more breath. If we sing a very solid and very loud note, it doesn't use very much breath usually. So a lot of times when vocal coaches tell students, you need to think about breathing, okay, you need to breathe deep, you need to use diaphragmatic breathing. Most of the time the student will start to tense up and they need to breathe properly, and that's when the whole system starts to tense up. You know, your throat starts to tighten and your stomach starts to feel very tight. Okay, and you start to breathe unnaturally. Okay, whereas if we didn't tell you that you need to breathe properly or that there's any problem with your breathing, you'd breathe more naturally, and usually that amount of breath is enough for you to be able to sing songs that you need to sing. Okay, so why do people even say that we need to breathe from the diaphragm, that we need to do diaphragmatic breathing? Alright, so it comes from a need for us to have more of something whenever we feel that we lack something. For example, if we ran out of cereal in the morning, we just go to the store to buy more. If our bodies run out of water, we just go to the water cooler to drink more. But we've run out of breath when we sing. Is it a simple matter as just breathing more? Unfortunately, no, because our bodies have limited capacity for breath. You know, we can't keep advising students that, oh, if they run out of breath when they sing, just take in more breath. You're not breathing deep enough, you're not breathing properly. It's not going to be sustainable, and we can't keep training to take bigger and bigger breaths. It just doesn't make any sense. Alright, so let's just do a simple experiment to prove my point. So I want you to take in a big breath, as big as you can. Alright, so just breathe deep, use diaphragmatic breathing, use chest breathing, use whatever forms of breathing that you know. Just take in a very big breath like this. And let go. Okay, so now I'm going to get you to take another deep breath, but this time I want you to hold it for 5 seconds, and then after that you let go. Okay, so just take in a very deep breath, hold it for 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let go. Okay, so what did you feel in your body? Did that big breath feel natural? Did it feel comfortable? Did it feel easy for you to hold that big breath? Alright, so for me, it felt very strange, it felt very tight. My whole body felt very full, and actually when I was talking and telling you and I'm doing the countdown for you, you may have heard that my voice was very tight. Okay, so it didn't feel very natural to me. It felt that I had a lot of tension in my body. So that big breath didn't do very much for me. Alright, so a lot of times when we are singing, if we take a very huge breath because we think that that's going to help me hit a high note, or that's going to help me sustain a very long phrase, it's probably going to cause you more tension in your body. So we want to just be more aware of that. Okay, so now that we have established that breathing more isn't really the solution, I'm sure you're going to ask me the next question, which is, what is the solution? Okay, how am I going to solve my breathing problems? How am I going to sing long notes and sustain them without running out of breath? You'll have to watch my next video to find out more. So stay tuned. Alright, so many of you probably will have heard other people. Okay, so many of you probably would have heard people say that you have need. The only thing is, when we're singing, we need to think about. The only thing is, the truth is, we don't really need how to learn. The truth is, we don't really need how to. So, you have to watch my next video for that. I'll explain everything in detail, so stay tuned. Stay tuned.